Battle of Bunker Hill, June 17, 1775. On June 17th, some 2,200 British forces under the command of Major General William Howe and Brigadier General Robert Piggott landed on the Charleston Peninsula, then marched to Breed's Hill. As the British advanced in columns against the Americans, Prescott, in an effort to conserve the Americans' limited supply of ammunition, repeatedly told his men, "Don't fire until you see the white of their eyes." When the redcoats were within several dozen yards, the Americans let loose with a lethal barrage of musket fire, throwing the British into retreat. After reforming their lines, the British attacked again with much the same result. Prescott's men were now low on ammunition, though, and when the redcoats went up the hill for the third time, they reached the redoubts and engaged the Americans in hand-to-hand combat. The outnumbered Americans were forced to retreat. However, by the end of the engagement, the British gunfire had cut down some 1,000 enemy troops, with more than 200 killed and more than 800 wounded. More than 100 Americans perished, while more than 300 others were wounded. Battle of Bunker Hill legacy. The British had won the so-called Battle of Bunker Hill and Breed's Hill, and the Charlestown Peninsula fell firmly under British control. Despite losing their strategic positions, the battle was significant moral builder for the inexperienced Americans, convincing them that patriotic dedication could overcome superior British military might. Additionally, the high price of victory at the Battle of Bunker Hill made the British realize that the war with the colonies would be long, tough, and costly. On June 17, 1775, early in Revolutionary War, the British defeated the Americans at the Battle of Bunker Hill in Massachusetts. Despite their loss, the inexperienced colonial forces inflicted significant casualties against the enemy, and the battle provided them with an important confidence boost. Although commonly referred to as the Battle of Bunker Hill, most of the fighting occurred on nearby Breed's Hill. On June 16, 1775, having learned that the British were planning to send troops from Boston to occupy the hills surrounding the city, some 1,000 colonial militiamen under Colonel William Prescott built earthen fortifications on the top of Breed's Hill.